crafters, Karen here from Karen's Crafting Company, and in today's video I'm going to share with you the rest of the cards I was able to make using up this winter paper pad by Echo Park. If you saw my latest sheetload of cards video for the month of October, I did use this paper pad to make those cards. I also used this same paper pad for the third round of the Cards by Kendra challenge, number 7. And because I had so many papers left over and the ephemera along with the enamel dots, I wanted to use up the rest of the pad and everything that I had with it. So as you can see, I did use up the rest of the papers, and I really didn't have that many scraps left, maybe 4 or 5 small pieces that I really didn't have any problems throwing away. And I did use up the rest of my ephemera and the rest of my enamel dots. So I was really happy to finish up this pad along with the ephemera and enamel dots. Here I'm starting with the Operation Right Home sketch number 154. This is one of my favorite sketches to use when I have scraps left over. And I pretty much followed the sketch to a T, and the winter fun sentiment came from one of the 6x6 papers from the pad that I just cut down to size to fit on that strip. And then of course, any other scraps that I had left over, I would use for the inside of my cards. These next set of cards, I was using up the rest of my cut-aparts, and I took my snowflake embossing folder and embossed that on the white shimmer cardstock. And the Baby It's Cold Outside cut-apart, I had 2 of those left and assembled those. And then for these 3, I had the Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow. And again, same concept, putting it on the snowflake embossing cardstock. And then But I Think I Love Winter Most of All, I had 3 of those left over. And then the Let's Get Cozy. Now, what I liked in particular about this embossing folder is that it's non-directional, so I was able to turn my card base 90 degrees and have it horizontal to fit my horizontal cut apart. And those cards helped me finish up my cut aparts. That sketch, excuse me. Now, you all know that when I mass produce, I cannot make any cards without using Crafty Al's sheetload of cards. So here I'm just starting with the latest sheetload, the October 2022. And because at this point I still had quite a few sheets of the pattern paper, I was able to get 2 sets out of here. So it does yield 9. And like I said, I got a total of 18. So for the pad on the right, I chose 3 papers for that set. And then for the set on the left, I chose another 3 papers for them. I also was trying to use up my 2x2 cut apart sentiments, and like I did in my October 2022 sheetload video, I had several of those left and was able to use those up. And then whatever I didn't have enough of, I brought in my Warm Winter Wishes stamp set from Close to My Heart. And again, I was able to use up several of my enamel dots. And because my card bases are gray or kraft, as you'll see with other cards, I did layer the inside with white cardstock. And I added a piece of washi tape from my winter washi tape stash. And any scraps again or ephemera, whatever I had left, I was adding to the inside of my cards. And now you see here that I'm starting to bring in those cut aparts for my sentiments on the front of the card. Now these card bases, I had quite a few of them already pre-made from my other two projects that I used with this pad, and I just brought in what I had left over. And so you'll see that some cards are top fold, some are side fold, some are gray, some are kraft, some are blue. So it really, I just was using what I had left over, and it did save me some time on not having to make extra card bases. You can see there that I did use different types of the washi tape. There you see the stripes. I was also able to bring in different snowflake patterns of the washi tape. And actually, with these cards, I was able to use up 2 rolls of washi tape. So that was exciting that I was able to, use up more of what I have in my stash. Here we're moving on to the November 2019 sheet load, and I pretty much followed this sketch as you see here, and I just used those sentiment pieces from the pattern paper, and I had that snowflake left over from the other projects, and I just held on to it and thought, well, I know I'll use this again when I use this paper pad, and I just added it for more dimension on this card. And then again, because I used blue cardstock for my card base, I layered the inside with the white cardstock and then added more washi tape on the bottom of the white cardstock. Using the November 2020 sheet load, I got 5 cards out of here, and I pretty much followed the sketch. Now, at this point, I did run out of enamel dots, and I didn't bring in any other enamel dot type pieces in my stash. I just left it as is, and then again layered the inside with the white cardstock, and I could either add a stamped sentiment or I can leave it blank for a written message to the recipient. Moving on to the June 2021 sheet load, I again pretty much followed this sketch as you see here, and just trying to use up the rest of those ephemera pieces that I had in my stash. And I realized that as I'm opening the inside of the card, I did not layer the white cardstock in there, so I will have to go back and put that in. So it calls for the 2 pieces of the pattern paper, and for these 2 cards here, instead of using the second piece, I had 2 of those ephemera pieces that I was trying to use up, and I just placed that there in the middle to use as my focal point. And now these cards here, they are not part of this sketch, as you can see. These are just some more cut aparts that I had left over in my stash, and I did mat them with the shimmer paper, as it went really pretty with those pattern papers, and then I just added those snowflakes that I had left over as well. And then last but certainly not least, I used the December 2021 sheet load, and the only difference here is I did not cut that oval piece for my sentiment because my cut apart on that square took care of that. So it worked out pretty well that I was able to just use my last cut apart for this last card here. So I was able to get a total of 45 cards with what I had left over. So that's not including the 9 cards from the October 2022 sheet load and the 15 cards from Kendra's card challenge. So that brings it up to a total of 69 cards. So I was pretty excited that I got a total of 69 cards from this paper pad, and I was able to use up my ephemera, my enamel dots, and some of my washi tape. So it was super exciting. That wraps up another video, friends, and I hope that this has inspired you to go and tackle those paper pads that you still have left over that you might have worked on from a previous project. And I also hope it gives you inspiration to try out some sheet loads if you haven't tried them already, or other sketches. Until my next video, friends, I hope your day is a crafty day. And stay tuned to the end to see some close-up pictures of the cards that I made. Until then, everyone, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.